Hello, my name's Omri, and today I have a very special update video. If you remember, back on my debut, I mentioned I'd be giving semi-regular updates on the development of my own game. And today marks semi-regular update episode 1.
Woohoo!
This series will serve partly as sort of a game development journal, so I can see my own progress and record it, but also to share my journey as I develop this game from start to finish. I'm keeping the game fairly simple because it's really just me working on it with a little help from a friend of mine. If you watched the Clock Tower series in part 7, I mentioned a little bit about the game that I'm working on. Key takeaways were it was a horror themed game and it was going to be a point and click sort of escape the room adventure game. And that's really the core of it. It's short and simple. You'll be exploring these eerie, hand-drawn 2D environments, solving puzzles, some of which will be self-contained, like Professor Layton type of puzzles. Some of them will be multi-step, more involved puzzles, like the ones you'd find in Zero Escape. It's important that the mechanics are kept fairly simple, so I can give each puzzle and each environment the care and polish that it needs to be a truly satisfying experience. My goal is to have the game last about an hour, which may sound short, but this limit will keep the project more manageable and will result in a better, more finished game overall. On top of this gameplay framework is a short story. It centers around a young teenager who is plagued with chronic nightmares. These nightmares have gotten so bad that it's easier for them to try and avoid sleeping than it is to suffer through them. Of course, no one can stay awake forever. The only way out of this nightmare is through it. The setting of this game is within this person's nightmare. The nightmare revolves around a large house. Each room possesses a unique threat and eerie atmosphere based on the person's many anxieties and fears. There's also something or someone lurking the hallway looking for them. So you must always be cautious, because nowhere is truly safe. Now that you know what the game is about, I'd like to talk a little bit about my inspiration for it. My main inspiration is the Seek games, like Prison Boys or Otsumi Gods, mainly because I'm a big fan of their likable characters and their horror-themed narratives. And of course I do like the little puzzles they have. My other inspiration is the White Island series, because it was really my first experience with a 2D point-and-click game that was actually very effective in scaring me. I really liked how they balanced out somewhat slow gameplay with actually a very tense, suspenseful narrative. There's also inspiration from my own nightmares, because as much as I do want the game to have a sort of surreal, dreamlike logic, I do want the fears and anxieties that the nightmare is based on to feel grounded in reality. Because I'm a firm believer that horror that you're emotionally invested in is scarier than any gore or jump scares that you could find. The art direction of the game is heavily inspired by like 60s and 70s sci-fi and horror movies, because I'm a huge fan of those bright, striking colors of Technicolor films. I've also always found the sort of space age aesthetic of the 60s and 70s to be very, very unsettling, so I took a lot of inspiration from that. I would like to emphasize that this game is still very much in the pen and paper stage of development. The first prototype is in the works, and once that's finished, I'll provide another update. I can't guarantee when that update will be, but expect it in the next couple of months. I hope this has been somewhat insightful to anyone who's wondered what the early stages of game development are, as it's mostly just research to find out what direction I want this to take. And now that that's pretty firmly set in my mind, I can finally start working towards it. Thank you for watching the short little update video, and I hope I can see you again in the next one.